Hi, this is Treptalk and I'm Modella. Imagine you can distill a lifetime experience to a handful of lessons that each of us can learn from. That's why we feature renowned business leaders, change agents, professionals, successful entrepreneurs to share their stories of how they rose to the top and challenges, failures, and the sacrifices to achieve these goals. I am with a change agent and a business executive today on Treptalk. Her name is Mrs. Oluneye Oluwole. She's the CEO and Executive Director at African Hub International, an entrepreneurship development organization and a multi-sector based hub. So sit back, relax, let's get talking. It's good to have you here, ma'am.
Thank you, Modella.
We want to know a lot about you. I believe many people want to know who you are, except from what I just said briefly about you.
Basically, my growing up was fun. I was very athletic, both in the primary school. I was with the athletics team running from my houses. Also in the secondary school, my main event for the tracks was 100 meters dash and the 4x100. So you know that is somebody that has some energy inside.
I can see that. Okay.
So that translates to my person. So if I am that kind of a person on the tracks, so off the tracks, you can imagine that I'm a slave driver.
Yes. So how did it all begin for you to become successful like this?
I would say to become successful. Wow, do I really say that I'm?
You are successful, and that's why you're here on Treptalk.
I think basically is following what you love to do, following your heart, following your dreams. I like taking audacious steps. I am a think out of the box kind of a person, in the sense that I'm not stereotyped in my thinking. I am a very creative person in terms of ideas. Geography was one of my very good subjects, so I could travel the world, even within the classroom. So I had that desire to travel the world, and how I was going to achieve that I didn't know at that age. And of course, I loved literature. I think it guided my life choices. Right from my secondary school, we used to go on what you call excursions. So for me, those were things that were shaping my life. Well, I would not say directly, but indirectly they were shaping how I was looking at life. So leaving the university, I got a job in an accounting firm, which was not my passion at all. It was my father's, dream. Then one thing I like myself, I know when to say no. I know when to call it quits. I know when I'm not on the right track. So I told him, I said, this is definitely not for me, despite the fact that he tried getting me into Pricewaterhouse in Lagos. And I reflect back and I say to myself, perhaps maybe if I had taken that very seriously, I could have become, a CBN governor by now or something, but definitely I would be the most miserable person if I had told that line. So I needed to discover myself. In discovering myself, I had a lot of gap years, after university, then married. So then I started looking for what I wanted to do. I thought, okay, I could go into banking. And then I met somebody that introduced me to the travel industry, Swissair, and that was what changed the direction of my life. I found that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to take people to places, travel and tourism. That informed my starting my first business in travel and tourism in 1999. So I was way ahead of my league. So that was how I took my bold step. I didn't have a clue of what was in the future. All I knew was I wanted to take people on tours. I actually didn't understand it was entrepreneurship. I only knew that I was passionate about tourism. I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur at that time. I just saw myself as pursuing my passion.
We'll take more after the short break. Until then, don't go away.
I'm that kind of a person. I don't look for the solution, I create the solution. So I embarked on a 3-year, expedition, I call it. So that birthed my first set of books, The History of Ogun State, My Heritage, about leaving a legacy. It's about, telling a story to my children, to my children's children, and to anybody that wants to know about Ogun State. So for me, it wasn't about the money, it was about doing something that counted and I was passionate about. So from there, the state government given an appointment on the Board of Tourism. So I got that appointment for 3 years or thereabout, and then later, that same being vocal and being tenacious and being bodacious about my dreams and aspirations. The former Ogun State governor, got me. I got that appointment. I had to tell him to make an appointment to see him, to present the books. Ordinarily I would have said, okay, I've done the books, fine, dusted. But I wanted to present it to the state government. So it was at that meeting where I was picked by another chairmanship aspirant of my local government. I didn't know. I was just the only female. So I became the supervisory councillor of the EXCO, that's the executive council of my local government, Odoboro local government, where I was the only female out of the 11-man EXCO. So I've come a long way being the only voice in a male-dominated environment. After that, I knew I was done with politics because of I'm an ideas person. I love creating ideas. So leaving Ogun State local government, my local government, I knew I was coming back to the private sector. So, and that was what brought me to creating African Hub. African Hub was created in 2015, just a name, just a vision, nothing clear. So I decided to make African Hub the platform for entrepreneurs, for startups, entrepreneurs in different sectors, because people are carrying ideas in different sectors. So we're not focused on tech. We're not a tech-focused hub. We're a multi-sector based hub that provides a platform for business development services, workspace, meeting room, networking, to provide them those services that can help them to focus on their businesses. Because I saw that there was a lacuna in that space that needed to be filled, but there needs to be an interface. That is what is done in the developed countries, where you have hubs like us, accelerators or incubators that are funded by the government to assist startups to change the narratives for the SME sector.
We'll take more after the short break. Until then, don't go away. Welcome back. We're still with Mrs. Oluneye Oluwole. You heard what she's been saying all day. I'm learning, and I hope you're watching. So let's get talking, man. You talked about so many of these things, and I get myself thinking, I get to ask myself, does she have challenges at all? Does she face any setbacks? Was there anything that at a point you wanted to just, oh God, I'm done? So let's talk about your challenges, man.
There's a whole load of challenges. The first challenge, I would say, is the voices outside your head that tell you or define or want to define how far you can go. I remember when I wanted to start the first company, it was more like, what does she want to achieve? And that comes from close quarters. Close quarters in the sense that you have either loved ones who don't see your value, who don't understand your passion, who don't value what you're bringing to the table. So you have to swim against a lot of waters to get to the destination that you are seeing ahead.
What's your own definition of success?
Success is impacting lives and seeing those lives transformed and seeing those lives successful and seeing them, better than you, and doing things better than you. You look at Jack Ma and you see what he has been able to do, the empire, or Warren Buffett, people whose stories will tell you that you need to go after your dreams. Jack Ma, from being rejected over several times to being a business mogul today. My impact, I have not started, so I'm not successful.
Wow, ma'am. So I see you have been a successful person, even though you tell me you're not successful yet and all that. Okay, so finally on today's show on Treptalk, a lot of people still have long-term goals and all that. Do you see yourself still having one, like a long-term goal?
Oh yes, I have long-term goals. Do you want me to tell you the long-term goal?
I want to, yeah. I want to see what exactly she's trying to achieve again. Okay, ma'am.
Long-term goals. One, I'd like to be the governor of my state, the president of this country, own my airline. More seriously, the long-term goals is to see the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria so improved that we have 99% as medium enterprises rather than 99% as being micro now. As of today, 99% are at my micro level. My desire through African Hub and strategic partnerships globally, we will be able to change that narrative to having 99% of our enterprises at the medium band, which would change the GDP of the country. That is my goal, my long-term goal for African Hub, to be the hub and the platform that will make that possible in Nigeria and in Africa.
It will be. But you were serious about this political, being the president, yeah? You were serious. You said to be more serious.
Yes.
Because I was just going to help her being your vice president. Okay, that's a wrap on Treptalk. That was awesome, yeah. Until I see you next time on another episode on Treptalk. Keep trepping. I remain Modella. I'll see you.